Chippers and Lefse, two very different food products with one very big thing in common: North Dakota. Hello, Goblins and Goblinettes. Welcome back to another edition of Destined Goblin here. This is where I will try a food product of some kind, maybe something you didn't even know existed, and I will decide whether or not I should give it my Destined Goblin seal of approval. Well, I always say this is where I try a food product of some kind, maybe something you didn't even know existed, and I can definitely tell you that one of these two items today I had no idea existed. We're going to check out some very decidedly North Dakota items here. Now, they are not exclusive to North Dakota, but they are very prominently featured everywhere around the state, and they definitely have ties to the state. We're going to start out with Chippers, and then we're going to move to the Lefse. That is because I think the Lefse is going to take a little bit of explanation. I went down a pretty deep rabbit hole when I was doing some research on this item, so we'll try not to get too lost in this one. What we're going to start out here is with something called Chippers. Now, this is, as I said, it's not an item that is exclusive to North Dakota. I have seen these in other states. They're not called Chippers anywhere else that I have seen them, but you've probably seen them as well. They are chocolate-covered potato chips. Now, this happens to be one of my favorite treats, one of my favorite candies. Candies, snacks, I guess you could say, because you get the saltiness of the chips, you get the creaminess and the chocolate flavor on it. I have seen them done many different ways. I have seen them done where a portion of the chip is dipped. I've seen some where they're completely covered. That tends to be what you see here. I think everything I have here, they are completely covered in chocolate. What I have never seen before, however, is different flavors. I've seen sugar-free. I think I've seen white chocolate, maybe. This looks like there's either a butterscotch or a caramel in this one. This is the assorted Chippers bag. And then I also have Katie's half-dipped mint Chippers. So these are half-dipped, but half of it is chocolate, half of it is mint. I can't say that I've ever seen that before. And then these are called Salty Dawn Chippers. So I'm assuming that these are going to be more like maybe a sea salt caramel. We'll see what we get out of them. No idea what the calorie counts are on any of these things, but these are really more homemade type of treats that I've got here today. So that's why the calorie counts aren't really going to be something that I can give you this time around. You can see this bag is $5.95. All of these bags. This one is $5.95 also, and then this tiny little one looks like it might have maybe 3 Chippers in there. $2.95. These things are not cheap. That is true everywhere I have seen these. Any state that I have seen these, and mostly you have to go to candy shops for these. Although I think I did one time run across a brand in Walmart. They're not cheap, and that is why I usually don't get them, because they are very expensive. This came from a candy shop in Grand Forks called Widman's Candies, a very popular candy shop here. Tiny little candy shop with a line out the door all the time. And they not only make these Chippers, which is one of these big North Dakota items. You will hear everybody talking about Chippers. You'll hear people talking about Lefse. You'll see pretzels everywhere. Those are some of the very unique items that are very big here in North Dakota. But this Widman's candy shop also dips in chocolate lots of items that you would think do not belong anywhere near chocolate. And when Mrs. Goblin and I went there and picked up these Chippers, we actually picked up another 2 items also, which I don't have to review because we devoured them. They're all gone. Chocolate-covered olives, green olives, and chocolate-covered pickles. Now, I know that sounds disgusting. They were some of the best sweet snacks that either one of us have ever had. You get the salty, you get the full flavor of the olive, the full flavor of the pickle, the saltiness of it, the crunchiness of it, but then you get a crunchy chocolate coating on the outside as well. It really was amazing. I do have my Fargo, North Dakota mug all loaded up here. My wood chipper mug all loaded up with some nice cold water as a palate cleanser. And let us go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the assorted chippers. And I have to be really careful with these because I have to leave half of these for Mrs. Goblin or she's never going to forgive me. So looking in this bag, you can see that there are some milk chocolate. You can see some dark chocolate, some white chocolate. And I am guessing that that other one is butterscotch and not caramel. But we will see what we get here. This one definitely looks to be milk chocolate. So we're going to go ahead and start with that. This is mostly what I have had before. I have had dark chocolate chippers as well. The secret to these is the chip inside. It needs to be crunchy, it needs to be salty, and it needs to be thick enough that you get the flavor of not only the chocolate, but the potato chip as well. Here we go. That one is very strongly chocolate. That you can kind of see. It might be hard for the camera to see it. You see over in the corner, you see the potato chip right there. The rest of that is a block of chocolate. Strong chocolate flavor on this. Get a little bit of the chip, but I have actually had these where you get more of the flavor of the chip, which is what I prefer. Let's try one more here. Okay, here is a dark chocolate. Now this one looks like it's got more of a thicker chip in there. It's only a fragment of a chip, but it looks like the chip is a little bit thicker. Let's see. Well, wow, that dark chocolate is rich. It is deep. It is dark. I don't know what the percentage is on that, but that is a very high percent dark chocolate on that. I would guess that's at least 70-80% dark chocolate. Good flavor. If you like dark chocolate, if you like the bitter sweetness of it, this would be a good way to go. If you don't like dark chocolate, you're not going to like this at all because this is very dark chocolate. I'm going to cleanse my palate a little and try the white chocolate. Okay, you may have heard me say more than once, I am not a huge fan of white chocolate. I don't mind it. It is definitely a misnomer. It is not chocolate at all. But, you know, I don't mind it. I'm curious to see, this is the first time I will have tried this on a chip. So I'm curious to see if it plays well with the chip, which I'm hoping is a little bit thicker here and a little bit saltier. Here we go. These are very good. I just would like the chocolate to be a little thinner. I would like a little thicker chip. I would like a little less chocolate on there because the overpowering flavor on this is chocolate. You get the texture of the potato chip. You get the crunch of the chip, but the flavor and the saltiness doesn't really come through. All right, here is whatever this is. If it's caramel, if it's butterscotch, I'm very curious to see what this one is. I think it might be caramel. It is neither. It's peanut butter. That is an amazing flavor. That is a peanut butter chocolate. That is a great combination. Good, strong peanut butter flavor, and the chip shines in this one. This is my favorite so far. All right, Salty Dawn Chippers. Now, if I show you the bag there, you can see the salt all over the top of those. That gives me some strong hope for these. But I can feel the thickness of the chocolate on there. I just wish these were a little bit lighter on the chocolate, but the saltiness should be there on this one. Oh, yeah. Wow. Look at all that salt. That's fantastic. The only criticism I have about these is that The only thing that Chip is providing in this case, in this snack, is crunch. I really like it when the chip provides a little bit more of the flavor. This is nice and salty. The chocolate's flavored great. Needs a little more flavor from the potato chip. Okay, one more palate cleanse. All right, so here, this is the half-dipped mint Chippers dark chocolate. And again, there is a look at the name of that candy shop, Widman's Candy Shop in Grand Forks, North Dakota. Grand Forks is a very interesting place in itself because there is a bridge that divides Grand Forks, and it goes right in downtown, right by the Times Square, or right by the little town square, rather, not Times Square. And right next to that town square is a bridge. And on one side of that bridge is Grand Forks, North Dakota. And on the other side of that bridge is East Grand Forks, Minnesota. So it's very interesting how the city, the city itself is kind of split in two. Okay, here we go. Half dipper. I'm not sure if I'm going to get mint and chocolate together. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you do get a mint flavor even on that chocolate side. Wow. You know what this tastes like? Girl Scout Thin Mint cookie with a crunch. So if you had a Thin Mint, and of course, obviously there is a crunch to the Thin Mint, but more of a crunch, I think, because of that chip. Interesting. I really like this one. Mint is not one of my favorite flavors. I don't mind it, but it's not a flavor that I usually go to right away. This is very good. All right, we're going to cleanse the palate and move on. It is time for Lefse. I realize this is going to be a long video, but please bear with me. All right, so now we come to Lefse. What exactly is Lefse? Well, it is this. It is, you can see that it's sliced. It is basically a flatbread, but it is made not in a traditional flatbread way. It's actually made with potatoes, and it seems like it's made a lot of times from leftover mashed potatoes. A lot of different ways that you can apparently make this. Lots of families have their own customs as far as making this. This is a big item at Christmas time, apparently. And you can see this one comes from a place called Maggie's Catering and Bakery. And I mentioned that little town square in Grand Forks. On the weekend, they have a market there where all different vendors will sell their products. And Maggie's has one of the longest lines every week for their products. They make all kinds of baked goods. And for the first time this week, I saw Lefse, and I had heard a lot about it. Lefse is like part of the culture here. You'll see T-shirts where it says like Lefse is life, and I mean it's in a lot of different aspects of life here in North Dakota. So I figured I had to try this. Now, how do you eat this? Well, that's where I came to the rabbit hole because I found a lot of different ways to eat this. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to eat 3 of these. I'm going to try one by itself. I'm going to eat one just by itself. I'm going to try one warmed, which seems to be another popular way of eating it, with some cinnamon sugar on it. And then I'm going to try one cold with some cold cuts on it, because that's another way that I have seen is a very, very popular method of eating this. Again, you can heat it, you can eat it cold, you can do a lot of different things with this. Now, the most traditional way, where did this come from, first of all? What are the origins of this? This is Scandinavian. So Norway has a huge influence on North Dakota. One of the things that you will see here a lot, you will hear a lot about it, it's another traditional Christmas item, and that is lutefisk. If you have never heard of lutefisk, consider yourself lucky. It is definitely an acquired taste. I have never tried it. I consider myself to be very adventurous as far as culinary items go. I tried durian when I was in Bali. I am not sure if I am brave enough to try lutefisk, but we'll see. We're here for, a while yet, so we'll see if I get around to trying lutefisk. I've actually seen it in grocery stores, so you can get it already prepared in grocery stores. It is a fish. It is usually cod. It's usually salted cod, and it is prepared using lye. Yes, lye, the toxic item, lye. Yes, it is soaked in lye, and then it is soaked in water. It takes a long time to make, and I believe it takes days to make, maybe even weeks. But it is traditionally eaten at Christmas time, and it is traditionally eaten with lefse. I'm going to try the lefse. I don't know if I'm going to try the lutefisk. Maybe. We'll see if I get around to that or not. I'm going to go ahead and prepare these, and then I will be right back. Okay, got everything all prepared. Couple of things. When I mentioned the warmed lefse with the cinnamon sugar, I think I forgot to mention butter. After you heat it, slather it with butter, let that butter melt a little bit, sprinkle that cinnamon sugar on it, and you're ready to go. The other item to mention here is I've heard it compared a lot to crepes. And when I looked at it in that package, and I haven't really seen it outside of that package. I've seen some pictures, but it was all prepared and everything. I was not expecting what I got out of that. And that is basically what looks like a crepe. Now, this was all one sheet. So imagine this 4 times as large here. And I just cut it into quarters because I was seeing that traditionally you serve a quarter of it. It says you roll it up, and that is how you eat it. I don't know if there's a proper way to roll this. It says roll it like a wrap if you're going to make a deli sandwich out of it. But this is 1 serving of lefse. And let's see what this tastes like. It is very reminiscent of a crepe, but the flavor is completely different. It almost feels more bready than a crepe does. But you do get a potato flavor off of this. I can see this being very versatile. I can see being able to use this in a huge variety of ways. Okay, this is the warm one with the butter and the cinnamon sugar. Oh, wow. Oh, the flavor of the cinnamon and the sweetness just complement the potato flavor of this. Really lets it shine, and that butter, it all melty in there. Oh, this is good. Wow, that is almost like a cinnamon roll crepe, if that makes any sense. That, I believe, I will be eating again. That is fantastic. I'm going to cleanse my palate here and move on to my savory version. So I was hearing a lot of people say that you can use these just like you would a wrap. You can put deli meat in them. You can make a savory version of this. So I've got a little hard salami and cheese in there. Oh, wow. North Dakota, I am getting more and more impressed with you. I wasn't exactly sure what to expect when I found out that this was going to be Mrs. Goblin's next assignment. I have been very pleased as far as the culinary scene goes. North Dakota, your snacks are excellent. That is a 3-star seal of approval. Again, a huge Scandinavian influence here in North Dakota. And you know, if you ever do an ancestry DNA type of thing, you're going to probably find out that you've got a little Viking in you. We all do. There's like 1 or 2% in everybody that's Viking, because at some point the Vikings conquered the world. So they brought a lot of those influences to different parts of the world and America. And it's really interesting to see some of those influences, see some of those cultural items, cultural food items especially, continuing on. If you get a chance, I highly recommend trying Lefse and Chippers, and I will catch you next time.